In this video, I want to walk through how to run a cohort-based course and how to modify a regular online course that you may already have. So let's jump straight in. How long is this course going to be? The whole point of a cohort-based course is that your training is live. People are going to sign up and work through your training as a group, a cohort. So you need to consider how long it's realistically going to take to work through your course of videos. And yes, the main training will be delivered through your online course, potentially your existing one. You're not training on the lives, they're for the parts that you can't do in pre-recorded videos, like answering questions, reviewing people's work, and doing demonstrations, things like that. You'll want to use something like a Facebook group where you show up on lives or on Zoom meetings, but if you're doing Zoom, you do still need to have something like a Facebook group for the community element. More about this later. So in our case, with our YouTube Academy, for instance, which is a 2-week course, we divide the main training across 5 sections, which nicely fits into 5 days, which becomes our first week. We felt each section naturally formed a day's work and was enough to give members a daily assignment without overwhelming them. On day 1, they get clear on who their audience is and what types of videos they need to make on YouTube to get found by them. On day 2, we build out their YouTube channel. Day 3, they script out their first couple of videos. Day 4, they record those videos, and day 5, they upload them with all the thumbnails, titles, descriptions, tags, everything they need to. Now, if we said goodbye at the end of the 5th day without some time for them to implement this training and get some feedback, they'd be really frustrated. So we then have a second week without more training other than a small next steps section so that they can put into practice what they've learned. And rather than having gaps between our days of training, we find that delivering the training all in the first week and then giving them that time in the second week to catch up, put it together, really does work well. So how's that going to apply to you? Maybe think, if you were training in person, how long would it take to deliver this training? Would someone who showed up for a day or a weekend just get totally overwhelmed and say, I need longer to implement this? On the other hand, if actually you look at your training course and think, I've only got 2 days worth of content here, please don't drag it over a week because I said that's what we do. Maybe you could do it over a weekend of training, or maybe it's only really a day's training. That's fine. Then you can leave them to take action on it, still use this idea of having a group, and then you just come back at the end of the week and say, let's bring it all together and see how you got on. For others of you, this is a year-long program. What I would suggest is you run the initial few days as I've described here and allow for monthly check-ins. One of my customers comes to mind who delivers his training in monthly blocks, and it all builds and progresses over a year. And that's great. The initial few days sets the scene and lays the foundation, then he sets them a month's assignment, gives them the group to support each other, then comes on once a month to answer the questions and then set the next month's assignment. Now, only you really know how this is going to work for you, and I'll be honest, when we first ran our YouTube Academy, we expected that 5 days to be it. And it wasn't till we got towards the end of the week that we went, we need to add a week for people to implement this. So I recommend, if possible, for you to run through your first training at a reduced rate, call it a beta run, and get some existing customers to come through and give you feedback. Was there enough each day? Was it too much and overwhelming? Trust me, they'll give you feedback. If you're wondering how long those individuals in the chapters should be, we've got you covered. We've already made a video on that one, which you can watch after. So divide your course into sections, think about how much time it would take to consume, and that forms the program for your course. Once you know how long it will be, you can plan it out. Now, how often you're going to run this is entirely up to you. Our 2-week YouTube Academy ran for the first few years 3 or 4 times a year because that seemed a good time frame. But now we're wanting to add in other courses and create some space in our year. We can't run it as often as that, so we're running it twice a year. So if this training, this course is all you're doing, then quarterly makes sense. If you're fitting it in with other things, once or twice a year is fine. And actually, running it less gives you some scarcity. If you can say, join now or you're going to have to wait 6 months or even 12 months, that really creates some scarcity and makes this easier for you to sell. Dripping the content. We'll talk in a minute about tools, but as everyone starts on the same day, you need to be able to allow payments a week or so in advance while your cart is open, but hold people back to the start date. Kajabi allows us to do that and set the start date within the offer. And then as we want to drip drip our training out over 6 days, your software needs to do that too. Again, in Kajabi, this is quite straightforward. We simply say, make this one available now, and then plus 1 day, make this available, plus 2 days, make this available. Now, one or two have kicked back about having to wait for the training that they want that's coming in a few days, but we find that having everyone on the same page and working through in the same part of the training each day really helps, not only to be more focused, but also it strengthens the community. They're all at the same stage and asking the same questions. Please don't disregard what I'm saying here. Trust me, it really does make a difference to drip that training out. How many people are you going to let into your course at a time? When you're initially planning it, you might not want to set a cap on members. What a great problem, right? But seriously, if like us, you're promising to review everyone's YouTube channel, we've got to set a cap. It's the same on our daily lives. We don't want to be swamped with 500 people's questions and folk being disappointed because they didn't actually get heard. So be real. How many people do you think that you can comfortably manage? This again will create some scarcity when you're saying that there's only 10 places left the day before. Now, what tools do you require? Kind of two things really. You need a course platform that allows you to build landing pages, or you're going to need a separate landing page builder, and a community tool like Facebook groups. If you've already got an online course set up on a platform that you're happy with, then fine, but please do make sure that it allows you to drip out that content and to set a specific start date. As I say, we use Kajabi and love it. Not only does it host our courses, but our entire business is on Kajabi. Website, payments, emails, everything. I honestly believe it's the best all-in-one platform out there. If you're interested in checking it out, we've got an affiliate link in the description, which not only gives you an extended 30-day trial, but all our affiliates are given exclusive access to our Kajabi Academy, where we actually have given you our entire blueprint for running our Ecamm Live Academy, a cohort-based course. It's exactly the same as our YouTube Academy, and I've even included right down to the copy in our emails. Plus, I run Zoom calls for our members twice a month. That's totally free and exclusive to those that go through our affiliate link. It's really worth considering if you're slightly unsure about where you're going or haven't even found a platform yet. Now, in addition to the course platform, you need a community space. And I know there are other options here, and some of them get pretty expensive, but I don't think you can beat Facebook groups. We run a new group for each cohort. We let people in as soon as they sign up, so before the training's actually dripped out, and we have a few posts ready asking them to introduce themselves, share their YouTube channel, things like that to start building that community. And you can set up a new Facebook group in about an hour with a new banner, posts, and admins all sorted. We prefer this model rather than keep adding new cohorts into one big group so that they feel excited to be in this exclusive space and no one's way ahead of them. Again, trust me, this just works. Now, what we do in our cohort courses is to leave that Facebook group open past the end of the course. So we run the course for 2 weeks, then we say bye at the end, but the group turns into a community group at that point, and they use it to continue posting their work and supporting each other. It works. You might decide to jump back in once a month. That's totally up to you. Or you might decide to cut it off altogether at the end of that 2 weeks. Again, your members are going to give you some feedback and let you know what they're after. Just be sure that if you're going to keep showing up and giving extra value, you need to figure this into your costs because that's high value. So what access do they get? Personally, we give lifetime access to our online training, including any updates. This is very different to a membership model, which is more like a Netflix subscription that only gives you access to the videos while you're paying a monthly fee. And honestly, if I was starting again, I think that is probably the route I would go down. Our Facebook group that has now turned into a community-based group stays active for 3 months, and then we archive it. What this means is after that 3 months, they can no longer post new content into the group, but they can still access it and watch any of the content in there. Now, big question, how much are you going to charge for your new cohort-based course? This is a topic for another video, and ultimately, I can't tell you how much to charge in terms of dollars, but base it on the value you give. What's the transformation transformation you're offering? How important is it for your members? How different will their life be after they've gone through this? And how much of your time are you giving them? How long will they have access to your group and to the training videos? All this needs to be considered. And ultimately, your price will decide on your audience too. I set ours at $199 for the 2 weeks for our YouTube Academy, and plenty of members tell me that it's way too cheap. But I love getting messages back from members who wouldn't be able to afford a dearer program, and they're genuinely thanking me for going above and beyond. To me, it's not all about money. I want to serve a broader audience, and if I could cope with more in the group, I could lower that price even more. But as I said before, we limit the numbers that come in, which means that we have to charge for that exclusivity. Plus, the topic's going to make a big difference too. If you're teaching leadership skills to company owners, you can charge a lot more than you would if this is a hobby-based course. So I hope that helps. Now, I want you to consider alumni as well. Around 10 to 20% of our course members each time around will be alumni, simply meaning they're returning. They've already been through a previous cohort. The training is the same. We've already given them access to all the videos for life, but they tell us they want to come back and have a kickstart or to really focus this time around. So we let them in for half price as they've already got the training videos. They're just getting access to the group and to me on those daily lives. So you might want to factor this in as well. As we consider your plan then and try and land this a bit, let's just do a checklist. You have your online course recorded and divided up into sections. You've decided how many days you'll run this over, allowing not only training days, but some implementation days. You've put the dates on your calendar, and big tip, make sure it doesn't clash with any national holidays, and decide how many times a year you're going to be running this. You've got your Facebook group set up, you're ready to promote the course, but you're not going to release anything until that start date. And then you're going to drip out the training across however many days you feel is most fitting for your audience and your training. Then you're going to show up at these set intervals. For us, it's daily for live coaching, Q&A, and just general support and cheering these guys on. And if you want to follow on from this initial cohort-based course with a membership model so people can keep in touch with you and keep tracking along, then great. Factor that in, put a price together, maybe give them a special offer if they join now. I promise you, we have such great feedback about our cohort-based courses. People love the fact that they're not working through this alone, but they're part of a group of like-minded people and they get to ask the questions they want to the coach. That's huge. Hopefully we've considered everything. If you've got questions, please ask in the comments below. And if you've got ideas for future videos, let us know that too. This channel's a new initiative for us and we want to hear what content you need to get you started on this online journey. As ever, please give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video and subscribe so that you can catch that future training. Now, I mentioned earlier about another video talking about how long your course videos should be. You can catch that one now, or if you haven't seen it already, why not watch our 5 things to consider before running an online course? That'll be a great next step. So hopefully I'll catch you in one of those videos. Bye for now.